Week 1. A dark turn for Hope's new fantasy. The next week, when The Bold and the Beautiful premieres, Hope Logan is caught up in a psychological and emotional maze. Ever since she admitted to being attracted to Thomas Forrester, Matthew Atkinson, their relationship has been strained. However, Hope's visions about Thomas become more vivid and complex in the next episodes. Hope, Scott Clifton, has always been the good girl, unwavering in her morals and dedicated to her marriage to Liam Spencer. Hope is starting to doubt who she is, however, after recently dabbling in risk and temptation. She finds it impossible to resist Thomas's seductive yet deadly charms, since he has been gradually changing for the better despite his previous deceptions. Hope starts to picture a life this week in which she gives in to her cravings and chooses Thomas over Liam. These daydreams, which started off innocently, became more intense and realistic. She sees Hope and Thomas as a power couple who, together as co-leaders of Forrester Creations, are creating a life full of passion and creativity. Hope, however, is plagued by the fear of betraying Liam, a guy who has always loved her despite their ups and downs in every dream. But the issue still stands. Will Hope's imaginations stay in her head, or will they come true in the actual world? Will she act upon them, jeopardizing her union with Liam? Reality versus fantasy in Hope. What motivates her? Hope's interactions with Thomas take on a chemistry of their own as she struggles with these strong emotions. At work, the two have moments that seem professional but are really roiling with hidden desire. Even while Thomas really wants to improve, he can't help but see that their relationship is becoming more strained. Hope is getting closer to crossing a boundary with her dreams, despite his best attempts to maintain decorum and maintain a platonic relationship. Ever the loving spouse, Liam feels that something is wrong. He begins to notice that Hope is acting differently. She gets more evasive about her sentiments and loses herself in her daydreams, making her nod off during talks. Hope finds herself divided between the life she leads and the one she secretly wants as her dreams become more real the more she attempts to hide them. The audience will have to wait until next week to find out whether Hope will finally reveal her inner anguish to someone or if she will keep her increasing feelings for Thomas a secret. Will Hope attempt to work things out on her own, or will she ask her mother, Brooke, for advice? Her marriage might fall apart as her desires intensify. Week 2. The startling second diagnosis for Taylor. Taylor Hayes, meantime, has been concentrating on her career and her kids, until an unforeseen health issue upends her whole world. When it seemed like Taylor's life was going well, the episode would unveil a second medical diagnosis that completely upends her. Taylor has always been a strong person, overcoming obstacles related to her mental health to find new meaning in her roles as a mother and a worker. The diagnosis, however, poses a danger to the stability she has worked so hard to attain. Following her tireless attempts to support Steffy through her own personal tragedies, Taylor had a startling health scare. Now, however, Taylor has to face her own vulnerability. For much of the week, the nature of the diagnosis is kept a secret, enabling followers to speculate. Is this a brand new ailment or the return of an old one? Taylor's world is flipped upside down as she processes the information, and how she responds will be crucial to the development of her character. The Battle of Taylor, taking on the future. Taylor looks to her loved ones for comfort after learning of her condition. Although Torsten Kay's character Steffy and Ridge Forrester support her emotionally, everyone is deeply affected by the seriousness of the situation. Because of her illness, Taylor starts to think back on her previous transgressions and wasted chances, especially in her interactions with Ridge and her kids. Will Taylor let this diagnosis send her into a downward spiral of uncertainty and anxiety, or will she embrace it as a chance to mend her relationships with the people she has wronged? Taylor's vulnerability will reveal new facets of her personality and enhance her emotional depth as she fights her disease. The next weeks should provide further insight into Taylor's coping mechanisms as her health and future become more unclear. Steffy versus Brooke. The family conflict gets serious. In the middle of the emotional upheaval surrounding Taylor's condition, a parallel plot will see the rivalry between Brooke Logan and Steffy Forrester intensifying. As regular viewers are aware, Brooke and Steffy's complex familial relationships have always caused tension in their relationship. Deep wounds have been created by Brooke's past with Ridge and her recurrent arguments with Steffy around Liam. And now that Hope and Thomas are becoming more intimate, the tension is ready to explode. Brooke's suspicions about Hope's actions have been escalating. Knowing Thomas's history of fascination with Hope, Brooke has always been cautious of him as a protective mother. Hope is confronted by Brooke on her recent behavior, and Brooke implies that maybe Hope is spending too much time with Thomas. Feeling trapped, Hope goes on the defensive and won't acknowledge her own emotions. Steffy has been closely monitoring her brother Thomas, so she is aware of Brooke's worries. Despite their prior disagreements, Steffy still thinks Thomas is really trying to improve, and she won't put up with Brooke getting in the way of his advancement. Brooke is accused by Steffy of always interfering in her family's business and destroying their bonds. The showdown between Brooke and Steffy, a wills duel. In the next weeks, as both Brooke and Steffy take sides in the developing romance between Hope and Thomas, their conflict will intensify. At Forrester Creations, Brooke confronts Steffy and issues a warning to keep Thomas under control and away from Hope. Relentlessly assertive, Steffy lashes out, charging that Brooke is projecting her own fears onto Hope and Thomas. An intense disagreement soon becomes personal as long-standing grievances are revived. Brooke is reminded by Steffy of her extensive past of betraying Ridge and wreaking havoc in their household. Ever stubborn, Brooke responds that Steffy has always attempted to use others, including Liam, to further her own agenda. It becomes obvious as the argument becomes more heated that years of animosity and hostility between the two ladies are at play here, rather than simply Hope and Thomas. The rivalry between Brooke and Steffy puts Ridge in the middle and has the potential to permanently sever ties between the Logan and Forrester families. Ridge's position, conflicted in between two households. Ridge, who has always struggled to balance his love for Brooke with his commitment to his kids, gets once again entangled in the Brooke-Steffy dispute. Although they have had difficult times in the past, he and Brooke have always managed to get back together. But with Brooke and Steffy at one another's throats, Ridge has to decide between his daughter and his wife. Ridge will have a difficult time mediating between Brooke and Steffy in the next weeks, but his attempts could be in vain since both ladies are adamant about holding their current positions. Will Ridge be able to mend the rift in his family, or will the hostilities drive him apart from Brooke and Steffy? In conclusion, next week's will bring drama and decisions. The Bold and the Beautiful will be serving up suspenseful drama over the next 2 weeks. Hope's delusions about Thomas might become true, Taylor's second illness will try her fortitude, and Brooke and Steffy's conflict will drive their family to the brink. The fate of these people is in jeopardy as emotions run hot and long-buried grudges come to the surface. Will Hope endanger her marriage to Liam by giving in to her desires? How will Taylor handle this new health issue? And will Steffy and Brooke ever be able to put their differences aside, or will their rivalry just serve to split their families apart? The following 2 weeks of The Bold and the Beautiful promise to be incredible, so fans will have to check in to watch how these stories play out.